Jaxson Dart, Jaxson Dart, Jaxson Dart, Jaxson Dart. I swear there was a stretch of 2 to 4 weeks where Jaxson Dart was the it athlete in New York City. That buzz started in preseason, but it took full effect in week 4 when he took over as starter. And he gave the Giants and this entire city some real aura from the quarterback position that we haven't seen since Eli's days. In a 12-game sample size, 4-8 record. Not great, but he did throw for a little over 2,200 passing yards, 15 touchdowns, only 5 interceptions, and 9 rushing touchdowns, which is a Giants record at quarterback. That's 24 touchdowns in 12 weeks, y'all. That's accounting for 2 touchdowns a game. The Giants have 99 problems, but a QB1 ain't one. So let's have a little bit of fun here. We're going to recap his rookie year, break down some of the plays that not only made him dangerous, but they also got him in trouble. And I want you guys to hear from our NFL reporter for the Post, Ryan Dunleavy, and Super Bowl legend David Tyree on the journey and the highs and lows of Jaxson Dart's rookie season, because I'm going to say it now. I went from thinking, I don't see it, to thinking this kid might overtake Eli Manning as the greatest Giants quarterback ever. And it all started with the draft hype, because I'm not going to lie, when I did my draft evaluation for quarterbacks for the 2025 draft, Jaxson Dart was not on my list as one of the top quarterbacks in this draft class. I thought he was a system quarterback at Ole Miss, and I thought he was a more athletic gunslinger than a Jay Cutler that wasn't going to be a star in the NFL, but I was wrong. I just pulled my own receipts. When Joe Shane and the Giants traded up to grab him in the first round, our NFL reporter for the Post, Ryan Dunleavy, didn't know exactly how Dart was going to transition from college to NFL quarterback, but he did give Joe Shane and Brian Dable some props and credit for the pick.
What impressed me most is Joe Shane's poker face, right? In the last 3 days, it came out everywhere that Brian Dable and the Giants preferred Jaxson Dart as their quarterback. They still had the guts to wait, not even trade up in front of the Steelers, and then give up, basically get a bargain to move up to 25 and get their quarterback of the future. I don't know if Jaxson Dart can play. There's questions about how he'll read an NFL playbook, go through the offense, etc. But you can't argue with the process and the value. It's a classic have your cake and eat it too situation to get your quarterback second with your second first-round pick.
Turns out it wasn't a reach, trading back into the first round to grab him. It's a move that paid off for Joe Shane and the Giants. It wasn't like taking Daniel Jones with the 6th overall pick, and that's no knock on DJ, but no one booed this Jaxson Dart pick or the process. In fact, Joe Shane and Brian Dable knew they got their guy on draft night, and they doubled down on it the next day in the press conference, and these two dudes are fired up about it.
All right, obviously we traded back for Jaxson, fired up to get him. We went through an extensive quarterback process. It started as far back as last May in terms of evaluating the quarterbacks, and Dave's and I have been through this quite a few times, and at the end of the day we're fired up to have Jaxson Dart as part of the organization, and look forward to working with him.
Yeah, I'd say, look, we've had conversations all the way up to this morning actually about a variety of things, and I like the way he plays. I like his competitive fire. I like his accuracy. I like his ability, again, to push the ball down the field. His athletic ability to run with the football. I know the system that they ran down there at Ole Miss is similar to the one we had at Alabama. So there's some carryover on some of these things, but I think this guy's got better every year he's played. He's a leader. He was smart. He has the attributes that we were looking for.
Then we get to rookie camp, OTAs, training camp, preseason. That's when you started to see the buzz, because in comes Jaxson Dart to East Rutherford. All eyes are on this man from his first snap at rookie camp, like a Tupac album. I thought he looked great during rookie camp, but it's rookie camp. But it was his first pass in team drills during OTAs with the Vets, which was a pick 6 that had Giants fans QB PTSD kick in. That pick and that video, that play went absolutely viral, and people were already labeling this dude as the next Giants quarterback to be a bust. But you know what? That's where we should have really started paying attention to the dog that this kid has in him, because his progression and his development from there only went up. You saw a wild play or two every single training camp practice, and that's when he really put Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston on notice that I can play. And then we saw the preseason games.
Guys on this roster who were homegrown here, and they're here because you see
And a
that
touchdown from Jaxson Dart to little Jordan Humphrey.
Bo did a good job on that screen as well. Dart with time. Fastball over the middle, completes it.
Nice.
For first down, that's Montrell Washington.
3rd and 6. Clean pocket, fires, caught, touchdown, just like that.
Before the preseason, I didn't think we were going to see Dart play until what? At least week 8. After the preseason, I changed it to week 6. But Russell Wilson not being able to show that he had some juice and some ability left in the tank, that opened up the door for this kid's first start. But here's what shocked me the most when it came time for him to take over as starter. When I went into the locker room and I asked some of the players about what they thought about Dart, getting his first start, these dudes wanted him to be the guy. They wanted him to get out there and bring that energy because they thought that he brought a different element to the offense, mobility.
How is it going to be different, I guess, blocking for a guy like Russell Wilson, but for a guy like Jaxson Dart, who can get out of the pocket and create with his legs?
I'd say that, you see around the league, a lot of these guys are really good at running. Like you have the Jalen Hurts, Jaden Daniels, Cam Wards, Kyler Murray's of the world. There's a lot of quarterbacks that are really good at running. So I think that's where the NFL is shifting to nowadays. And to have a guy back there like that kind of just makes you feel a little bit more at ease, knowing that, if you slip on a block or you kind of mess up and it's a little muddy, then he's going to get you out that muddy situation, make you look good. So, a guy like that, it's always a plus to have a guy like that back there.
So let's get into the good, because that mobility and athleticism was on full display the opening drive of his first start. What he had, like a 13 or 16-yard scramble for a touchdown.
To Neighbors, 7 before that. Here's a run again by Dart. 1st and 10. He'll take it in. His first career touchdown. And the Giants on top.
I was hyped. The entire stadium was hyped. We haven't seen anything like this before. But I think it was the Eagles game, Thursday Night Football, on national TV, where this kid had his "I have arrived in New York" moment. 1, he beat the Eagles. 2, he did it on primetime football. And 3, he did it without Malik Neighbors. There was an anticipation throw that he made to tight end Theo Johnson in a big moment of the game. Here's a breakdown of that throw. All right, so I know this isn't some sort of play that's going to make Sports Center or anyone's highlight reel, but this is when I realized, all right, this kid gets it. This kid understands how to play quarterback in the NFL, how to read coverages, how to anticipate his throws, and how to get the most out of his personnel. Right now, you see the Giants in 12 personnel. That's 1 running back, 2 tight ends, and you've got 2 receivers on the outside here. Again, no Malik Neighbors. I believe Darius Slayton was down this game. You've got Theo Johnson and Daniel Bellinger, 2 tight ends right there in the slot. Jalen Hyatt, and I believe that's Wan'Dale Robinson up top. So Vic Fangio, we all know and respect as one of the great defensive coordinators in this game, tried to not only blitz Jaxson Dart to see if he understood how to get the ball out quickly and how to identify his hots and sights and where he was in trouble at when it came to some of these blitzes. And Jaxson Dart aced this test, man. So let's watch the play first. Theo Johnson is the receiver that gets the rock, and then I'll come back and we'll break this down. Good ball, good throw, anticipation, good catch, good finish. This was something that got me hyped watching. And, if you know me, you know I'm the Giants in-game MC. So I was probably up in the 300 sections watching this throw when it happened, because I had a hit to do to be on the video board and do the in-game entertainment. But right here, Great job by Brian Dable, Mike Kafka with the motion here. And what this allows Jaxson Dart to do, this motion by Tyrone Tracy Jr., the running back, if someone goes with him or someone bumps and goes with him, you automatically know it's man-to-man as a quarterback. If they don't, if there's just shifts and guys kind of readjust their leverage, you know it's going to be some sort of zone on the back end. And with this look, it's looking like some sort of cover 4 or maybe some sort of cover 3 right now. Jaxson Dart, through this motion, sees the linebacker, believe that's Zach Bond, go with the motion, go with Tyrone Tracy Jr. Automatically knows he has some sort of man-to-man coverage already. And what that does, since we have this flood concept, or some people could call it a sail, I like to call it the flood concept, where you're running that sail or you're running that deep out route. This guy's got to, for the love of the game, go to take that corner up out of there. Only against press man, bump, 1-to-1, single high. Do you get that ball? It's a mandatory outside release because you don't want this corner to fall off on that route. And then you've got the little whip. You've got the snag route right here by Daniel Bellinger, as you got the snag route right here, and then you've got Tyrone Tracy in the flat for flat control. You flood a zone, so you're flooding this zone, this area, to if it's zone, to pull these guys out of their spots, out of their zones. But as soon as he saw Zach Bond go with Tyrone Tracy Jr., he knew it was man-to-man. So your two options here are Daniel Bellinger on Cooper DeJean on some sort of snag or whip route, which you don't like. And now you have Theo Johnson, he can see with a man-free safety, with the safety that's coming down to try and play man-to-man at around 8 yards away. You know where he's going. He knows where he's going with this football. Gets a little pressure here with Jermaine Illuminor. With Jermaine Illuminor kind of losing that block late. Then you've got some internal pressure right here with this backer running free, ready to hit him right dead in the mouth. So right now, Jaxson Dart is staring down the barrel of a loaded gun or a loaded, blitzer rusher, and he, with anticipation, is anticipating Theo Johnson to get a clean break, since you're not getting pressed, get a clean break out on this out route, this deep out route, and he's anticipating him catching this ball before the numbers. This shows you that this kid was ready for the assignment. And you see him make the throw on his back foot because he's taking a hit. Look at the hit that he takes here. And he gets just enough on it to where he puts it out there to now Theo Johnson can catch and run. A lot of the times you would see this be a late or a throw that's behind him that allows this defender to get in phase and maybe pick it, or even, get in phase and make some sort of pass breakup, PBU. But the way that Jaxson Dart is able to get enough on this football, and that just goes to show how big of an arm he has to throw it from this back hash to the numbers, to hit Theo Johnson in stride to where he can catch and run, just goes to show that this kid was ready before a lot of people thought he was going to be ready. And to win 2 out of his first 3 games against a team like the Chargers, who are in the playoffs, against a team like the Eagles, who won the NFC East again, who are in the playoffs, defending Super Bowl champs, to carve both these teams up was absolutely phenomenal to watch. And it let me know that this kid had the juice. After that throw and after that game, I think we all left MetLife Stadium thinking, you know what, this kid gets it. And he can make players around him better. And that's what a QB1 does. It was the Jaxson Dart and Cam Scatterboo show that game, and their energy after the game showed that this guy was the quarterback, and this was the rookie duo that New York has needed for a long time.
Because I've been seeing Fitz take his shirt off. And here's the thing. If you take it off, Scat will take it off.
Let's go. Oh, yeah, Scat. Okay. Woo. Now give the woo. Yeah. Scat.
But now we got to get into the bad, because sadly that high wore off faster than the buzz you get when you're smoking hookah. He went on to lose his next 7 starts, and the Giants lost, 9 in a row? And I'm not pinning all those losses on him at all. My man still managed to put up some pretty solid numbers during those losses. During that 7-game losing skid, though, is when it hit me that Jaxson Dart was the future of the franchise. My man was still able to throw for at least 240 passing yards 3 times, and he didn't turn the football over that much like rookie quarterbacks normally do when they hit that rookie wall. In a loss versus the Bears, he went 19 for 29 for 242 yards in the air, no touchdowns passing, no INTs, but 2 rushing touchdowns and 66 rushing yards. No number 1 receiver. He had a lot of drops, no Cam Scatterboo. This guy showed that he is the offense. But there was also a point during that losing skid where we all started to doubt this kid again, because he consistently was taking trips to the medical tent because he was taking on so many unnecessary hits. And that made both fans and the media question if this kid really understood both how important he was to the offense and the franchise, and if he knew how to play NFL quarterback. This ain't the SEC. You got to slide.
This is football. Like, I'm going to get hit if I'm in the pocket or outside the pocket. Like, I feel like I've played this way my whole entire life. This shouldn't be like any shocker to anybody if you've followed along with my career. And we're not playing soccer out here. Like, you're gonna get hit, things happen. It's part of the game.
And there was even a point where I was wondering if this kid was going to last not even the rest of the season, if his playing style or his running style was sustainable for a full NFL career, especially after he took that hit on the sideline on Monday Night Football against the Patriots.
What kind of competitors they are last night in that thriller on Sunday Night Football. Dart's going to go and gets popped.
Yeah, Troy, you're 100% right. He's in bounds. When he's contacted, that's a legal hit.
That hit started some sort of silly narrative where someone came out and said that the Giants should trade Dart. And since they had the number 1 overall pick at that time, they should trade Dart and that number 1 pick, Fernando Mendoza. That was an absolute stupid take. Both me and David Tyree did want the Giants to sit Jaxson Dart the remainder of the season to protect himself and so that he'd be available at the start of spring workouts and the next season.
Do you sit him? Do you play him? And do you think Jaxson Dart has a chance to make the Pro Bowl this year?
First of all, I've personally been heavy on sitting Jaxson Dart ever since I saw Jameis Winston. I think the whole project, I think the thought process the Giants had at the start of the beginning of the season was the right game plan. Get a young, talented quarterback in and allow him to actually sit and learn. You have Jameis Winston in there. He actually gave you a good flash and some revival, some excitement. He's not just a media frenzy. He's actually a solid NFL quarterback who can really produce for you. And I think they need to sit Jaxson Dart in light of what we've seen, the positives. We've seen enough positive. We know that we actually have something special brewing. The risks are too great at this point in light of what the Giants are playing for. You're paying these backup quarterbacks. Put them out there, give them a chance to continue their careers in the National Football League. I think that's those front office types of decisions where, is this just about us trying to get a win? So Kafka's in there. You got Shane in there. Hard decisions to make. Sit Jaxson Dart behind down so he can be the future of the franchise.
That's why coaches coach, GM's GM, and I'm glad they didn't sit him, because this kid responded to the critics and the narratives about him the way you want your QB1 in New York to do so. Now, earlier I mentioned that Jaxson Dart could overtake Eli Manning as the greatest Giants quarterback ever. And when you compare Dart's rookie season to Eli's, like Tyree broke down for me, you'll see that Dart is off to a great start.
Here's my talking point at the end of the day. This, Eli's on this Hall of Fame ballot. I know we're going to get into that a little bit later, but I remember Eli's rookie season like it was abysmal. It was abysmal. I actually went back and looked at the stats, and I remember he actually had a game where he threw for 22 yards. Jaxson Dart's rookie year is phenomenal in comparison, and obviously he's a runner. There's nothing for Jaxson that he has to like overwhelmingly invest this great amount of energy in relation to sample size, to what the future could look like. So at the end of the day, Pop's coming to the aid. He was a little vulgar with it, but hey, we out here in these streets. We out here in these Twitter streets. We out here in these X streets. You want some, you can come get some.
We can all agree there wasn't much to celebrate when it came to the Giants this season, but there is no debate that this kid is the future quarterback of the Giants football franchise. Look at what he was able to do in just 12 weeks of action. He became the first rookie quarterback with 240 plus passing yards, 60 plus rushing yards, and 2+ total touchdowns in multiple games. First quarterback since at least 1991 with an opening drive touchdown in each of his first 3 starts. The most rushing touchdowns by a rookie quarterback in NFL history, and scored rushing touchdowns in 5 consecutive games. That's the first for any quarterback in NFL history. Lamar Jackson, Michael Vick, all of them. I think if this kid stays hungry and he stays healthy, there is no limit to where his game can go and where he can take this franchise. Keyword if, but I think we can all agree. We like what we saw in year 1 from Jaxson Dart.